Some of the most powerful homes in the world are designed to be seen from miles away. Glass towers above oceans. Cliffside palaces carved into mountains. Sky-high penthouses floating above entire cities. They dominate skylines. But the most powerful residence ever conceived might not appear on the skyline at all. Because real power does not always rise. Sometimes, it disappears. Hidden beneath an ordinary landscape lies a residence built for a different kind of billionaire. Not the loud kind. Not the kind that collects attention. The kind that collects control. From the outside, there is almost nothing to see. No gates announcing wealth. No towering walls. No architecture trying to impress a passing helicopter. Just land. Open, calm, quiet land. Yet somewhere within that landscape sits a single structure. Minimal, almost anonymous. A long slab of dark stone resting low against the terrain. No windows. No visible luxury. Just a perfectly cut line in the earth. Most visitors would drive past it without a second thought. But those who know what it is, know that this is the entrance to one of the most sophisticated private fortresses ever imagined. The underground Billionaire bunker. A residence engineered not for attention, but for permanence. The entry sequence begins with silence. A biometric scanner hidden within the stone facade activates only when the owner's vehicle approaches. No keypads. No cameras in sight. The door itself is not a door at all. The entire section of stone slowly shifts, revealing a descending ramp carved deep into the earth. Once the vehicle enters, the entrance seals again behind it, returning the surface to exactly what it was before. Nothing. No trace. No evidence. Above ground, the world continues like nothing exists beneath it. But 50 feet below the surface, the architecture begins. The ramp spirals downward into a cavern carved with machine precision. Walls of exposed basalt rock contrast against surgical lines of brushed titanium and matte black concrete. The lighting is soft, indirect, almost museum-like. Because this bunker was never designed to feel like survival. It was designed to feel like control. At the base of the ramp sits the underground motor court, a private hypercar gallery where engineering icons rest like sculptures. A silent cathedral for machines. Glass partitions separate each vehicle, illuminated with subtle lighting that reflects across carbon fiber and polished metal. The collection is not random. Each car represents a different era of speed, innovation, and mechanical ambition. For some billionaires, art lives on canvas. Here, art sits on 4 wheels. But the garage is only the beginning. Because this structure was never meant to be just a bunker. It was designed as an underground world. Beyond the motor court, a central corridor stretches forward, a long gallery space that feels closer to a private museum than a residential hallway. Polished concrete floors. Walls clad in smoked glass. Lighting that appears to float in thin architectural lines across the ceiling. Inside these walls sits one of the most unusual art collections ever assembled. Paintings, sculptures, and digital installations are displayed within climate-controlled vault galleries embedded directly into the bedrock. Some works are centuries old. Others were commissioned exclusively for this residence. Digital art pieces powered by AI-driven displays that constantly evolve over time. The entire gallery is protected behind multi-layer security systems normally reserved for national museums. Motion sensors. Pressure-sensitive flooring. Biometric access. Not because the owner fears theft, but because this space represents something more valuable than money. Legacy. The gallery eventually opens into the heart of the bunker. A massive underground atrium carved directly into the earth, a vertical space stretching nearly 3 stories high. Above it, a circular skylight pierces through the ground far above, disguised at the surface by a shallow reflecting pool. During the day, sunlight travels through water before reaching the atrium below. creating a constantly shifting pattern of light across the interior walls. It is the only place inside the bunker where the outside world is visible. Not directly, only as light. At the center of the atrium sits the main living platform. Floating staircases connect different levels of the residence, while glass bridges span across the open space like quiet architectural gestures. This is where the bunker stops feeling like a bunker and begins feeling like a private underground palace. Because beneath the earth, space becomes freedom. The deeper the structure goes, the more expansive it becomes. Private lounges carved into stone. Indoor gardens fed by artificial sunlight. Water walls that echo gently through the halls. The entire residence exists in a controlled environment. Temperature, humidity, light, and air quality precisely engineered. Above ground, weather changes. Markets fluctuate. Cities rise and collapse. But down here, everything remains constant. And that stability is exactly the point. This home was never designed as a reaction to fear. It was designed as the ultimate expression of quiet power. The ability to disappear when the world becomes too loud. The ability to operate in complete privacy. The ability to live beyond the reach of chaos. For most people, wealth means bigger houses. For a certain class of billionaires, wealth means choosing when to be visible and when to become invisible. But the deeper you move into the bunker, the more extraordinary the architecture becomes. Because the next level reveals something few underground homes have ever attempted. An entire ecosystem built beneath the earth. Self-sustaining, self-powered, and designed to support life indefinitely. And that is where the true scale of this underground fortress begins to reveal itself. The deeper you move into the bunker, the more it becomes clear that this place was never designed as a hiding spot. It was designed as an independent world. A residence that does not depend on the surface. Because the real idea behind this project was simple. If you're going underground, you don't build a shelter. You build a civilization. The second level of the bunker opens into one of the most unexpected spaces in the entire structure. An underground garden. Not decorative. Not symbolic. A living ecosystem. A massive indoor botanical court stretches across the center of the level, illuminated by a network of artificial skylights that replicate the exact spectrum of natural sunlight. These lights slowly shift in color temperature throughout the day, recreating the rhythm of sunrise, afternoon warmth, and evening glow. Palm trees rise toward the ceiling. Stone pathways weave through clusters of tropical plants. Water flows quietly through narrow channels carved into the floor. The air here feels different. Cooler. Fresher. Alive. Advanced filtration systems circulate oxygen-rich air throughout the bunker, ensuring that every room maintains the same natural atmosphere you would expect on the surface. But the garden does more than create beauty. It sustains the environment. Beneath the soil lies a hydroponic farming network capable of producing fresh vegetables, fruits, and herbs year-round. Entire walls are dedicated to vertical agriculture, precision-engineered racks where plants grow under perfectly controlled light cycles. It's food production disguised as landscape design. A quiet fusion of luxury and resilience. Beyond the garden lies the wellness wing, a space dedicated entirely to human performance and longevity. For most people, a home gym is a single room with equipment. Here, the concept expands into an entire underground health complex. A training studio lined with performance-grade flooring sits beside a private recovery suite. Cold plunge pools sit beside heated mineral baths carved into stone. A floating sauna chamber made of dark cedar overlooks a subterranean reflecting pool that stretches across the length of the chamber. The lighting is dim and atmospheric. Steam rises slowly through the air. And above the pool, a ceiling panel displays a digital sky, capable of projecting anything from a quiet sunset to a full field of moving stars. Because when the outside world disappears, the architecture must replace it. Moving deeper into the level reveals one of the most secure areas in the entire residence. The Vault District. Unlike traditional bunkers that hide valuables behind steel doors, this design treats security as architecture. A circular corridor branches into a series of reinforced chambers, each one built like a private museum vault. Inside these chambers are collections that go far beyond jewelry or gold. Historical artifacts, rare manuscripts, private investment records, cold storage for digital assets. Even sealed climate-controlled chambers designed to protect rare materials for centuries. But the centerpiece of the Vault District is something far more unusual. The Art Vault Gallery. Unlike the upper gallery near the entrance, this space is designed for pieces that require absolute preservation. Massive rotating display walls allow the owner to curate entirely different exhibitions within the same space. One month, the gallery might display contemporary sculpture. The next month, Renaissance paintings. Every piece rests behind museum-grade glass with atmospheric stabilization systems that maintain the exact temperature and humidity each artwork requires. It's not just a gallery. It's a private cultural archive. Because for certain billionaires, collecting art isn't about decoration. It's about preserving civilization. Past the Vault District lies a section of the bunker rarely revealed to guests. The Command Center. A room built with the precision of a spacecraft control hub. A long curved desk faces a wall-sized digital display made of modular micro-LED panels. The system can display anything from global financial markets to satellite imagery, encrypted communication feeds, or private business networks. Multiple data channels run simultaneously. Secure communication lines connect the residents to offices across the world. Real-time global information flows through the room continuously. This is where the owner operates when privacy is essential. Where deals can be made without stepping into a boardroom. Where decisions affecting companies, industries, and markets can happen hundreds of feet below the Earth's surface. The room itself is intentionally minimalist. Matte black surfaces. Soft lighting. No distractions. Because this space was designed for one thing, clarity. But perhaps the most impressive engineering feature of the entire bunker is something most guests never notice. The infrastructure. Hidden behind the walls and beneath the floors is an entire network of independent systems designed to make the residents completely self-sufficient. Geothermal energy generators pull heat from deep within the earth to regulate the bunker's temperature. Battery storage vaults hold enough reserve power to operate the entire structure for months. A private water filtration system draws from an underground aquifer, purifying water through multi-stage treatment chambers. Air intake shafts extend to the surface miles away, disguised within natural terrain to ensure continuous fresh airflow. Even waste management is handled internally through advanced recycling systems. The result is simple but extraordinary. This residence does not depend on cities. It does not depend on infrastructure. It does not depend on the stability of the world above it. Everything required to sustain life exists right here, inside the structure. Because the philosophy behind this bunker was never about paranoia. It was about independence. A billionaire who builds a home like this isn't preparing for disaster. He's preparing for unpredictability. Markets crash. Governments shift. Technology evolves. But architecture like this exists outside of those cycles. It becomes permanent. And permanence is the ultimate luxury. Still, the bunker holds one final level. The most private section of the entire residence. A place very few people ever see. Because at the lowest level of the fortress lies the personal world of the owner. The living quarters where quiet power becomes something even more personal. A place where architecture stops being about defense and becomes about legacy. At the lowest level of the bunker, the architecture changes again. The technical systems fade into the background. The security layers become invisible. What remains is something far more personal. Because this final level was never meant for guests, investors, or visitors. It was designed for the person who owns the entire world above it. The private residential core begins with a long, quiet corridor carved directly through the bedrock. The walls are left raw, dark stone exposed with surgical precision cuts that reveal the geological layers of the earth itself. No decorations, no distractions, just texture, silence, and the quiet understanding that everything above this point belongs to the surface world. Down here, the rules change. The corridor eventually opens into the master residence, a vast subterranean living suite built around one central concept: controlled light. Since the home exists deep underground, natural sunlight becomes something rare and intentional. Instead of large windows, the architecture uses light wells that travel vertically through the earth to the surface above. Each well is engineered with a system of mirrors and optical glass panels that guide sunlight downwards throughout the day. By the time it reaches the living spaces below, the light feels soft and diffused, almost like the glow inside an ancient cathedral. The result is surreal. Sunlight exists underground, and the illusion is flawless. The main living chamber is enormous, but minimal. A floating platform made of polished black stone holds the central lounge area. A massive low-profile sofa faces a quiet wall of cascading water, a subterranean waterfall that runs from ceiling to floor, creating a soft ambient sound that travels through the room. Beyond the lounge sits a long dining table carved from a single slab of dark marble. 12 seats. No chandeliers. Just thin architectural lines of light embedded in the ceiling above. Because in this house, luxury is not expressed through decoration. It is expressed through restraint. The master bedroom sits deeper inside the residential core. Unlike traditional luxury suites that rely on panoramic views, this space uses atmosphere instead of scenery. The walls are finished in textured limestone, illuminated by soft perimeter lighting that creates a sense of depth without revealing the true scale of the room. At the center sits a platform bed facing one of the most advanced projection walls ever designed for a residence. The wall can transform into anything. A sunrise over the ocean. Snow falling in the mountains. A silent desert landscape under a full moon. Ultra-high-resolution environmental simulations create the feeling of looking through a window into another world. Because when you build a home underground, you don't remove the outside world. You redesign it. Adjacent to the bedroom lies the private study. If the command center upstairs is where business decisions happen, the study is where ideas begin. The room is circular, lined entirely with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. Physical books, rare first editions, historical manuscripts, architectural volumes, philosophy texts. At the center sits a single desk made of brushed titanium and dark walnut. No screens. No digital displays. Just a writing surface, a reading lamp, and silence. Because the most valuable asset inside this bunker isn't gold, art, or technology. It's thought. Beyond the study lies one final architectural moment. A space known simply as the chamber. Unlike every other room in the bunker, this one is almost empty. A circular room carved directly into the deepest layer of stone. The walls are polished basalt, reflecting faint light from a single opening in the ceiling. At the very top of the shaft, far above, a narrow aperture connects the chamber to the night sky. During the day, a thin beam of sunlight travels down into the room. At night, the beam disappears. And through that opening, the stars become visible. It is the only place in the entire underground fortress where the outside world is seen directly. No glass. No projections. Just the universe itself. The chamber was designed for moments of absolute solitude. No technology. No noise. No connection to the systems that run the bunker. Just space, silence, and perspective. Because when you control everything, markets, companies, wealth, the rarest experience becomes stillness. And that is the final paradox of the underground billionaire bunker. From the surface, it appears to be nothing. No towering skyline presence. No architectural statement visible to the world. Just land. Quiet land. But beneath that land exists a structure more complex than most skyscrapers. A fortress. A museum. A private ecosystem. A command center. A residence. An entire world built into the earth. For most people, the ultimate symbol of success is building higher. Higher towers. Higher penthouses. Higher visibility. But for a different kind of billionaire, the ultimate symbol of power is something else entirely. The ability to disappear. To live beyond noise. To operate beyond attention. To create a place where the outside world becomes optional. Because real power doesn't always need to be seen. Sometimes, the most powerful place in the world is the one nobody knows exists.